Good night. Have one time tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Erwin Gerald, spiritual divine, and also unsolved missing person. I'm here to give y'all short news on tonight. And the first story I'm gonna start with talking to an elderly woman. And that's a shame when scammers just wanna scam an older person. You know that is a shame for scammers. Scammers send an Uber to take elder lady to the bank. They're just taking it too far. So now the 80-year-old woman responded to an email scammer, a scammer that sent an Uber to her home to make sure she went to the bank and wired money to them. So the woman figured out that she was being scammed, and before embarking for the bank, good thing she figured out that they were scammers. Just how far crooks will go. Messing with an elder woman and sending an Uber to her house to make sure she go to the bank. You know, so Travis Hardaway, that's her son. He's a former musical teacher that turned app developed from Tulsa. Now he said his mother last month replied to an email that she received regarding an appliance installed on Best Buy. Now see, the reason why she probably got scammed and probably got confused because her dishwasher had broke. And she did went to Best Buy to and purchase another one, and they were supposed to be delivering. So when she received that email about installment, she thinking that was by her dishwashing liquid. That's the only reason why she responded to it. And a lot of us can get confused if you already waiting on something, and then here go the scammers. They coming, with the same information, that she already was waiting on. And that's how she probably got confused and got caught up with it. So her son said the timing of the scam email couldn't have been worse. His mind dishwashing machine had just died, and she paid to have a new one delivered to be installed. So that's where she got confused. When the scammer emailed her at that time, waiting on her dishwasher liquor, she thought that was it. And remember, she 80 years old. So scammers told her that she owed $160 for install. So they told her to install the remote software on her computer. And most elders don't know how to work computers. Don't even know the new thing on phones and stuff. So he having her dealing with computers, talking about get her software and hook her to the computer, and he assists her while she make the payment. Watching her on the screen. So she put her account up while they also was watching her on the screen. So they was trying to pull out $160, talking about that for installment. So why they trying to pull the $160 out? They accidentally transfer $160,000 to her account. Now that was scammers that pretty much didn't know what they was doing. Now she put her account up. They're supposed to be taking $160 out and accidentally transfer $160,000 to her account. So then they realized that they transfer $160,000 to her account, and they told her to go to the bank. She said she don't drive. She said, "Oh, we'll bring Uber to your house and make sure you go to the bank." So the son said he don't even know if the Uber ever drive because the mama started figuring out that it was a scam. She went to the neighbor house, and the neighbor said, "Oh no, this is a scam." So she never made it to the bank, and the Uber never got to her house because she never went to the bank. She went straight to her neighbor house, which was a smart move that she did. So I'm glad she went to her neighbor house, and the neighbor said it was a scam. So Hardaway, her son, said he had sense. He had sense and wiped her computer, clean her computer out. You know, change all the password. So he made sure everything was clean, changed the password, everything. But he said his mom, by this incident happened, left his mom rattled. Remember, she 80 years old. Gone through that, about to be scammed. Good thing the scammer didn't know what they was doing, because then them putting out money, they wind up putting money in her account. So now she really, second guessing herself, and that happened to, anyone. Sometimes you don't even have to be an elder. You could get scammed at any age, especially if you already waiting on a situation when scammers calling you at that moment. She waiting on a dishwasher machine to be delivered from Best Buy, and then they're emailing her about the same thing, so she just assumed that was it. you know. But lucky she have a son, have family that keep eye on. See, the elders, we have to keep an eye on the elders, because a lot of them don't know how to work computers, and a lot of them, they're at their age. They're waiting on one thing somebody calls. They're gonna assume that that's it. But these scammers and whoever is constantly wants to scam an older person ought to be ashamed of themselves. You want to scam an older person and trying to make sure she go to the bank. That's just that's just taking it too far. So we see the scammers talking and elders to the bank, even want to bring an Uber to her house to make sure she go to the bank, but then they made a mistake and thinking they're pulling out 100 and wind up transfer 160,000 to her account. And that's why the Uber never came to her house, because they know they made a mistake. Knowing she left on the computer. They're watching every move she make. So they saw her left on the computer, and she went to her neighbor house. So they figured she calling the police. So they never made it to her house. So that's a story on that, and I'm sorry that also about to happen. And thank God she have an older son that's looking after her. So now this story here, American Airlines plane ran over and crushes airplane towing a vehicle from the airport. So I saw the big old plane on top of a car. But thank God the driver wasn't home. Thank God the driver wasn't home. Big old airplane. He was landing. And sometimes when an airplane is landing, even if they see something, it's hard for them to just kind of just put on brakes. So thank God the driver was not harmed at all. So, and I'm also gonna talk about the update. I'm constantly gonna keep updating until someone responds to me. So I'm also an unsolved missing divine. So I did solve the missing person, Don Lewis. He's a millionaire. He been missing since 1997. It was a cold case. It's been a long time. They didn't have no clues. They didn't have anything. They closed the case. So August the second, I have, solved the problem, solved the missing person. I saw the whole event. Two, there was two involved. Three, also know what they did with somebody. So please, you can contact me. My email will be down below for more information. So we talked about this scammer talking to elder people, and then they had a whole list of a lot of other stories that had popped up that the scammers tried to scam elders, people and stuff like that. But it's just a shame how, you want to mess over an older person. You know, it's just a shame. That's why a lot of us, have moms and grandmothers and stuff like that. We have to keep tab on them. We have to watch out. And I'm quite sure her older son must have told her to be careful. Don't take in on nothing, on emails or phone calls. Don't take in on none of that stuff. You know. And if you delivering, having something delivered, and somebody send a call or email, just try to call Best Buy yourself on your receipt. To make sure. And that's a shame how we gotta go through all these troubles to make sure something is real. Because you got not just elders, you're just scammers, just scamming anybody. And you got to be careful these days because it's so much scam. I just talked about 3 days ago, what kept Kimball was scamming people. You know, taking their money and stuff like that. $200 million and stuff like that. You know, it's just so much scamming is going around. You know, so I'm glad the oldest son had cleaned out her computer and changed the password and everything else. You know, and that we just have to pray. You know, we just have to pray for a lot of these elders, not just for elders. You know, for everyone. You know, have to pray because scammers not just scamming on elders; they're doing it to anyone. And sometimes you can get caught up. You know, when you already waiting on something like this woman was, and then a scammer come along with the same thing that she waiting on. You know, so she thought that was it. You know, so I also talk about the airplane. The airplane crushed right on top of vehicle, and thank God that the person that was in the vehicle was not harmed at all. You know, so thank God for that. You know, they towed his car out. A good thing they had to tow him out. You know, so God was with him. You know, and so we also talk about the update that I had saw the missing person of Diane Lewis. You know, saw all the events and everything that went on. You know, so if anyone needs to contact me about this missing person that has been solved, please contact me. My email will be down below for more information and details. So that's all the short news I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.